Paul, how big is this? What kind of a difference is this going to make in the life of a veteran who's impacted by this?
It's tremendous. It's transformative. It tells America's veterans, many of whom are suffering right now from toxin exposures, many of whom have cancer, that help is on the way. It is worth celebrating. It's a rare bipartisan victory, but it's also at the same time kind of shameful and an indictment of the state of our politics that it took this long. We started this fight on burn pits 15 years ago, even longer. This will impact Vietnam veterans who've been fighting for decades. And in the end, 1 in 5 American veterans could receive support from this. So it's significant politically, it's significant policy, it's significant financially. But I think what's most significant is the moral support, the idea that we're not being left behind, that our government does see us, and that our friends who right now are sick and dying can immediately get support. And I'd encourage any of them who are struggling with burn pits, who've been exposed. The VA miraculously, within a couple of hours, actually set up an intake website to be prepared for this passage. So right now you can register for support under the PACT Act. And it's a rare example of government moving pretty quickly to meet the needs of folks that are not Republicans or Democrats, but veterans. They're united around this need, and hopefully it's a point of motivation for Americans when we're feeling a bit low about our country. It's a shot in the arm for all of us.
Have you heard from veterans any concerns, given the existing backlogs at the VA, that they're worried about the implementation of this?
Sure. That's always the problem. Look, today is the easy day. This is when all the politicians want their picture taken, and victory has 1,000 fathers. So the real credit here goes to the activists. I mean, they had to work so hard just to get the attention of the country, and the politicians followed. And we saw that over time. We had a ridiculous block in the final stages by Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. But there's always a concern about implementation. The VA is the second largest budget in the federal government. They've had challenges with backlogs and implementation before. And now is when we really need vigilance from Congress and from both parties to ensure that money is well spent and to ensure that the support is getting to the veterans. But I'll tell you one thing, if it doesn't, they're going to hear from veterans. They're going to be back on Capitol Hill. They're going to have Jon Stewart there, and they're going to raise hell just like they did this time to get this passed.
That said, don't want to take away from the moment. So in addition to you saying this is a victory today, how does it feel for you personally to see this cross the finish line?
You know, it's difficult. I mean, it's great to see. It's good to see veterans in the spotlight. It's exceptionally empowering to see so many veterans and family members and survivors there on stage and at the White House. They were sleeping outside a couple of days ago in the heat. And now they're standing next to the president in the White House. But it shouldn't have had to come to this. It shouldn't have been this hard. We shouldn't have had to have our friends sleeping outside the Capitol. We shouldn't have to overcome the opposition from senators who don't get it. We shouldn't have to call in Jon Stewart, who's been like an intercontinental ballistic missile of shame, forcing people to go forward. So I think there's a lot of work to do. We want to focus on the Afghan Adjustment Act. We've got to change the sexist discriminatory motto at the VA. And many of us right now also want to see Jon Stewart get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So there's a lot of work still ahead. But today is a good moment. But we know tomorrow we wake up and get back to work.
All right, Paul Rieckhoff, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.